Hey all, hope you're having a good day. I've got another fun game review for you guys today. Furi was a game that I bought last year, although it released back on PC in 2016. I was absolutely unaware this game even existed back then, but given that my taste in games has expanded so much since 2016, I really wanted to get around to it because it genuinely looked like a fun game, even just from the Steam store page. Let's quickly go through the story because it's not the main focal point of this game. We play as a stranger who immediately introduced to in a prison. He's basically being tortured. We get freed from a man known as the Voice, who gives us our equipment and wants us to fight for our freedom. We travel through 10 worlds, each with a guardian at the center of each world. Their only existence is to prevent us from escaping, and the story is basically developing as we move throughout each world. As we reach the end of the game, we finally reach the planet's surface, and we see that the stranger's presence is corrupting the planet, turning all of the ground to black and killing life. We also learn that the Voice wanted to get us out so he could be reunited with his daughter. The game ends with us deciding whether we should save the planet or assimilate it. Just quickly, please consider subscribing. I would truly appreciate it and it would help me out massively. Before I carry on with my review, there is some DLC that is available for the game. From what I saw, it allows you to play the game as a different character which has a different playstyle. I chose not to buy the DLC just because I didn't think that this would make too much of a difference from my overall experience. So, I'm going to talk about the action display in the game for a little bit, but if you want to hear it nice and simple, it's really good. There's an interesting blend of fast-paced action and slower, more mechanically intriguing combat, with each fight offering something unique. As there are 10 bosses in this game, I was wondering how much crossover there would be, because it seemed like as it was a smaller sized game, there could be some reoccurring moves that are slowly built upon, but thankfully I was proved wrong. Each boss presented their own challenges. I think there definitely are some standouts, but unfortunately I wasn't a big fan of this fight. For where it is in the game, I thought it was over just a bit too quickly and didn't offer enough compared to what the game was building towards. But moving back into more positive things, the game is best experienced with a controller, so I naturally wanted to experience the game the way the developers intended. The controls were fine and took a moment to adjust to. The actual moveset of our character is also fine. It's nothing that stands out and makes the character overly memorable, like the character is just a normal, quiet protagonist who just fights for what they believe in. Dodging in the game was fine for the most part. There are a few instances where I thought it was misaligned with hitboxes on attacks, but that's just more likely a skill issue on my end for not affecting the movement, something I'm all too familiar with unfortunately. But it's nothing unbearable and you quickly learn to adjust to it. What I did really like was that you could charge up the dodge to cover more distance. I thought it was a really simple but fun concept which has its use on larger levels. The game also has a parry mechanic which I was so happy to see. I love parrying things, this made the combat just feel that bit more complete. To parry attacks properly, it involved a visual stimuli. A white light would flash momentarily before the attack landed. There are quite a few things that would happen when you parry an attack. In the event you landed a perfect parry, you could deliver a punishing counterattack, which was a highly detailed and refined sequence, which made the overall fight feel a bit more dynamic. Other benefits from parrying attacks was that it could restore lost health, which was really appreciated. You could also regain health from shooting certain orbs that would damage you if you got hit by them. However, you could also regain health when pushing these bosses into a new phase. It almost seemed like a lifesteal mechanic, which I thought worked really well. This allowed you to feel more confident in the fight and also provide a moment of relief, although naturally having 3 lives always helps. I thought this was quite cool, as the bosses revive you when you die to keep the fight fresh. When this happens, the fight returns to the start of the current phase, which was fine. It allowed you more time to learn that current phase. In terms of customization, there isn't any pretty much. You get to choose your difficulty at the start of the game and that's pretty much it. You don't change weapons at all, no upgrades to worry about, and you don't really get to customize and adapt your skills available. It's just one solid combat system and honestly, I didn't think anything needed to change. It worked perfectly, it keeps the focus on the journey you go on and the fights you experience. What's the saying? Simple is best, that's how I would summarize it. Now, in terms of accessibility, there also isn't really much. After choosing the difficulty, you can opt to change it if you die in a fight in case you're really struggling, but if you're like me and incredibly stubborn, you won't use or need this, and completing the game on the harder difficulty rewards you with access to an even harder difficulty, so that's quite a neat inclusion. And if you enjoy the challenge, then why not relive it and experience it again at an even harder difficulty. You can also turn on automatic walk-in, which I didn't think was an option I'd ever see, but considering it's a very linear experience that only really has boss fights, I thought I'd use it as a momentary break between fights. Something that I always appreciate is a good art direction. and this game definitely has good art direction. There are quite a few different art styles on display in this game, whether it's the sci-fi nature of either end of the game, the overwhelming nature found on the planet, or the dark, painful waste that makes you question what the stranger did to be imprisoned in the first place. I think the game mixes and matches these environments wonderfully, and each area is designed to not only complement the bosses wonderfully, but also emulate what they stand for. The sound design was also quite refined and designed to perfectly complement the world around you alongside the action you experience. I thought it wasn't too overwhelming for the player, it allows you to focus on the fights and just be noticed in the background, and when you notice it, I think it really helps show the level of detail that was put into this game. I will also say that the soundtrack is solid. The music across the entire game was really well chosen, and I think outside of the actual combat may be my favourite part of the game. Performance wise, very solid, no stuttering, no crashes, no awkward collisions. That's part of the charm with these indie games. They tend to be very good with regards to performance, as there isn't any pressure for deadlines, which allows them to take the time to make sure that everything is visually and technically sound. So with that, I should probably talk about what I think the game does well. There's a lot really. I think the story, albeit simple, was relatively engaging. The constant change in camera angles was a little much at times, but it really helped to make it a lot more cinematic and a refined experience. The combat was great, the bosses were even better, and as mentioned just a minute ago, the music and sound were also great. I have two complaints, and they're both incredibly small. Firstly, on the last fight, some of the orbs are partially visible. I think this works in both ways. It adds an extra dimension of challenge for those really wanting to push themselves. However, visually it can get quite frustrating, as even with perfect placement of dodging, you'll still find yourself getting hit by orbs you can barely see. This is what people call a skill issue, and I guess it's valid. Realistically, the orb should just avoid me and not hit me even if they're not visible. My only other complaint, and this is just a personal thing that I thought was missing from the game, was that there wasn't much that the game offers outside of the actual boss fights, which we can expect in a boss rush game. I'm not expecting it to be as in-depth as a game like Elden Ring or The Witcher, where the areas are so incredibly in-depth, but I just didn't really have a reason to care about the world outside of environmental design and how it links to the boss fights. So overall, would I recommend playing this game? Absolutely. It's quite a quick experience, taking me about 2.5 hours to play through in its entirety, which I think is fine for a first playthrough, but for speedrunning I think it could easily be pushed further, and that's something you can do. For any completionists out there are achievements for beating the game quickly, so enjoy that. It's a simple but very polished game that I think tickles the right part of the brain. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. As always, I really appreciate you seeing this one out, as I may or may not have gone on a bit of a monologue at times, but what can I say? If you'd like, consider liking the video. There's also a hype feature that was recently introduced. I have no idea what it does, but hey, why not try it out? I would greatly appreciate it, but even just making it this far means so much to me. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully I'll see you around for the next video.